Okay, welcome to the 6 Secrets for the World's Highest Performing Achievers webinar training coaching session. Actually, is what this is going to be. I'm going to talk for a few minutes about the principles and habits, and then we will open up for some coaching. We have about 43 minutes, 42 minutes, 40 minutes, something like that. So let's see what we can get accomplished in that period of time. So in this presentation, I'm going to introduce the concept of high performance and how achieving and maintaining it through developing a few habits and practices can lead to personal and professional success consistently over your lifetime. So think of a prominent, well-known athlete, entertainer, business mogul, or academic genius. To get and maintain their, they had specific things that they had to do. Sustaining that success took more than talent, abilities, and strengths. It's likely a specific approach that they had to take. Now, I'm not saying that all high performer or high performance people have taken this approach, though a number of well-known entertainers and Olympic athletes have been coached in this framework. But what I am saying is that to get the more that you want in life, you need to have an edge. And for many of the world's most successful people, that is high performance coaching. So right now I'm going to open up my presentation here and get to my space where I can do my screen here. All right, so let's go to, now tell me if you can see, you see, tell me what you see.
The 6 Secrets of the most successful people.
Okay. You see the full screen, right? Because I had an issue one time before. So
yeah.
Make sure that you can see, and that's all you see. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Excuse me. So as I mentioned, my name is Diane Thomas, and I'm a trainer, coach, and consultant at Oncology Enterprises, LLC, where I help new, small, and growing nonprofits with resource development and fundraising. In addition, I am also a certified high performance coach. And so with that, I help individuals adapt specific habits and practices that are going to help them build lives of full engagement, joy, and confidence. Now, the concept of high performance was first created about 15 years ago by a gentleman by the name of Brendan Burchard, who set out to, through the High Performance Institute, answer 2 specific questions. And one of those questions was, why is it that some individuals and teams succeed more quickly than others? And they're able to sustain that success over the long term. And of those who are able to pull it off, why are some miserable and then some happy? His High Performance Institute set out with some exhaustive research to answer these questions. They administered global surveys and structured one-on-one interviews. They ran a bunch of data analytics from over like 1 million high performance indicator assessment data points and studied over 300,000 organizational employees and their partner organizations. They compared that data to academic literature reviews, had coaching insights from over 3,000 high performance coaching sessions, and had empirical results from actual training interventions. They then combined all of that data into 100 different performance variables. Now, all this research revealed that high performance is not only correlated with age, gender, nationality, intelligence, personality, strengths, experience, or compensation. Now, it doesn't mean that these things don't weigh in somewhere and that they're not important. And they obviously do have some impact on people's lives and affect their personalities and some levels of success. It just meant that these things weren't as strongly correlated with a long-term success as other things. Now, this was like a big picture of what they found, of course, and they had to define it and go deeper. And they basically found that high performance can be defined this way. It's about succeeding beyond standard norms. So first you have to know where you are and what it means to succeed beyond that base point. And then consistently over the long term basically means that there were very specific behaviors that high performance had, and they were performing consistently over the long term. And while they were succeeding, they were also able to maintain a sense of well-being and positive outcomes in relationships. So if you are somebody who's thinking, well, I have to succeed and my health is at risk as well, you know, am I going to have to balance one thing over the other? And you don't. It's really something that they've been able to actually measure also in terms of the way people are feeling. And it does have a definitive feeling. And most people who are reporting this are saying that it feels like they are fully engaged in what they're doing. They have a lot of joy and they bring a lot of joy to what they're doing. They have confidence. And it really comes from a place of giving their absolute best. These are people who are focused on service and giving from that space. And it comes from answering the question, really, how do I rise to meet what is required of me in this situation? And I know that you know this. When you feel like you're giving your absolute best, I bet you feel like you're engaged in the moment, you're having fun, you're confident in who you are. So you may be thinking, how do I get that? How do I get more engaged? How do I feel more joyful and more confident? What do the world's highest performing, most successful, most fulfilled people do differently? And how can I do that too? Now, clearly not a day goes by, I know, where you're not seeing somebody on Instagram or Facebook or at your workplace or out in your neighborhood who seemingly might have it easier. They might have more wealth or a better car or a better career. Now, you might know that they've achieved all these things, maybe a little bit beyond where you are. And that's not saying anything negative. It's just that there's lots of different levels of people in terms of achievements and accomplishments, wealth and influence. And we're always in that mix. We're always trying to figure out where we fit. Out of 7 billion people, we're all struggling to get ahead. But what is it that those who are at the top levels, like the top 15%, what are they doing differently? It's probably not necessarily always where they're from or how lucky they are, or maybe they have some different approaches to their life and career that generated a different quality or experience or a higher level of wealth, influence, or happiness. But before we look at those approaches, let's talk about what's not working. Now, I know that there are what a lot of them are doing is some of the same things that had been doing, or some of the same things that you're doing every day. You've heard a lot of these things that you're seeing here on the screen before. You know, people tell you, hey, just get started, just work hard, you know, just start your dream, be passionate, focus on your strengths, practice a lot, be grateful, stick to it. This is all good advice, of course, but sometimes what leads to initial success is not sufficient for the long term. Because you know what? Most people did start. I know you did. They do work hard. I know you did. They are passionate. I know you did. You are. They do care about what they're good at, and they still get stuck in a rut. Even though they practice, they don't always win those championships. They're grateful that but you know, they might not feel as abundant or that they have as much as they would like to have, whether it's in, you know, richness of relationships or money as they want. They've stuck to it, and sometimes they've stuck to it for years. And that may be your situation. I'll, you know, admit it's been mine, at a cost to their own dreams and their own desires. So it's not like these things here are bad advice. It's just, you know, you're beyond this right now. It has got you to the level 1 of where you are right now, but you want more than that. You've probably already tried many of these things that you see here. I know a lot of people who do work hard, you know, they are passionate, but they're broke. I know a lot of people who know what their strengths are, but they're in a rut because, they're doing something that, may have been good at the time when they started doing it or fell into it. But right now, it's not making it for them. And they're not really willing to challenge themselves to really go to the next level like you are. I know a lot of people who are truly, soulfully, deeply grateful for life, but their family deserves and needs more. So sometimes this advice isn't sufficient. And so you have to ask then, how do you reach the next level and beyond that? And how do you reach that next level of abundance and success while avoiding burnout? Because that's usually the big issue, and false obligations. So many people fear going for the next level because they think, well, I can barely handle this one. I'm going to burn out. Or I don't go to the next level because if I go to the next level, then I'm going to have to do more things. And I'm going to owe all these people. And it's just going to be, a stress I just don't want to take on. So look, succeeding at the next level is not easy. You already know that, otherwise you'd be there already. But you're striving, you're working hard, just like we all are. And we realize that there's really three huge, awful, debilitating problems that people face. It's why it's not easy to get ahead. And it's because we face these types of things. We face things like fear. We want to be more. We want to do more. We want to take that risk. We want to try that new business opportunity. We want to hire that team. We want to go for it. We want to seek the investment. We want to get support. Even in our personal relationships, we may want to approach someone we're attracted to or whatever, but putting ourselves out there and showing up consistently as our best and courageous selves, we know that that's not always easy because we have stories in our head that don't support us. Sometimes we have some things that have happened to us in the past that we're still carrying around with us. Sometimes in facing the unknown, we fall back to our heels. We don't push as hard as we can or we should. And as much as our family and our team really needs us to, because we're worried about what will happen if we really go for it and we fail, or we lose reputation, or we can't handle the struggle, or we go through all the effort and it doesn't turn out well. These are real concerns for real people, and we face it every day. I know that's, it's scary. It's scary when your back is against the wall, when you don't have the finances you need. I know that it's scary when you have a lot of obligations and you feel stressed and overwhelmed. I know it's scary when you wake up to face a day and you think, oh my gosh, I have got to get up and do all of this again today. I know it's scary. And when you don't know how things are going to turn out and you've invested so much time and energy and effort into it, I know it's scary that, you might not have the support of your spouse or some people in your neighborhood, family, people at work. Fear is a real thing. And we've got to deal with that on an hourly, daily, and weekly basis, no doubt. High performers have figured out how to deal with that. It's a big issue. And one of the things that I focus on as a coach is making sure that people deal with this, that they're conscious of it, that they know where it's stopping them, and that they face it as their best selves. I focus on making sure that they show up more consistently as their most courageous self. And I know it's something that you're working towards also. So I celebrate you for being here today, for building your success quotient with a forward-thinking mindset, attending this presentation. We also know another huge, awful, debilitating problem people face is fatigue, especially these days where we've had to deal with now. A lot of people burn out on their way to climbing that mountain. They work super hard and they get a lot of momentum going and they make it halfway up the mountain and then they're done. They're overwhelmed, they're stressed, they're so irritable with their families. They stop feeling like they can make it through the day. They don't feel like they have the mental alertness and the mental focus, or literally even the physical energy. But sometimes fatigue isn't that you didn't sleep enough last night, though. A lot of people are challenged with that, and I'm one of them, to take care of your physical body through sleep. High performance definitely demands a lot of energy, but a lot of people are not just physically fatigued because they don't work out, or maybe they don't have the right nourishment, or maybe their kids are loud. A lot of people are just emotionally fatigued. It's not even physical, it's emotional. They're drained, they have so much stress and they've been dealing with that stress for such a long time. Sometimes they don't have the momentum they want, or maybe they have a lot of what they wanted, but it didn't bring them what they thought. It just brought more overwhelm, and they're juggling more than they thought. They're fatigued and they don't know how to handle it. Now, another huge debilitating awful problem is frustration. You had, when you think back on the last time you were frustrated, you know, what you may have been feeling like when you've been beating your head against the wall, you know, in disbelief about this pandemic, especially over the last year, how it shut everything down. You were denied your livelihood, your autonomy, everything was threatened, even your lives. As you cautiously, you know, things are opening up and people are trying to get back out there. You don't know what to realistically expect in this new normal. You're not experiencing the momentum towards your goals like you deserved, and things may not be paying off like you hoped that they would, and you're getting restless. It's making you question who you are. It's making you frustrated, maybe with other people around you. So you may be taking it out on other people, and your relationships are suffering. We have to talk about fatigue and frustration. We have to talk about this in certified high performance coaching, and I deal with this on a regular basis with very real people. So eliminating what isn't working and taking fear, fatigue, and frustration into account, the more complete question to ask is, how do the world's most successful people overcome this fear and fatigue and frustration, and then implement the right strategies and habits to dramatically advance their lives and careers? How do they do all of that? Well, it's kind of like this. There's a way for you to go to the next level of abundance and success and joy and health without freaking yourself out and stressing yourself out or experiencing overwhelm. It's really about mastering what we call high performance practices and habits. But bringing that credibility to the high performance coaching space rests on being very explicit and scientific about qualifying what those success markers are. What does high performance actually look like, and can it be witnessed? So the researchers at the High Performance Institute asked, are these habits deliberate? Meaning, are people who are successful doing these habits on purpose? Can we observe it? Are these habits malleable? Meaning, can they change? And can people improve on them over time? Can you train these habits? Can these habits effectively cross domains? And so out of over the 100 different performance variables that I mentioned earlier, they identified 6 habits that mattered the most to long-term success. These were commonly called high performance habits. And yes, they are effective, they're measurable, and they can be trained, and they can be improved upon. And these habits fall into 2 categories, personal and social. The researchers found that in a person's personal life, they had to consistently seek clarity about who they are and what they wanted to achieve. They had to generate energy sufficient to succeed. They had to raise necessity, which is a way of saying that they had to make sure that they were constantly raising the bar of their own motivation. They had to know their why and really, really go after it. They had to make success necessary. In their social lives, they were being very productive in their careers, their projects, or the fields that matter to them the most. They did develop influence with other people around them, and they had to demonstrate courage. Now, those 100 performance variables further revealed that these high performers rather, did significant internal work to form these habits. They sought breakthroughs, training, and coaching in 6 critical areas, what we call the high performance pillars. And so they had to master these areas and asking themselves, how do you get from where you are to where you want to go? It's really by mastering these pillars of high performance. So you'll see here this first, in this blue box here, one of the first is psychology. So it's really working on your mindset, your behavior, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and asking yourself and studying why you do certain things. It's your physiology down here in the green box here. So it's how you're making sure that the energy that you have and how you're physically showing up and taking care of your physical body and health can be improved and is enabling you to achieve at your highest levels. It's also about I'm sorry, I think I missed something. This is productivity here, is in the blue box. So it's about really mastering this area in terms of how you're able to use your skills and abilities to get done the things that you want to get done, to encourage people to buy from you, to support you, to invest in you. It's also about mastering your purpose down here in the purple box. So it's really understanding what's bringing you joy and keeping you on track, and about presence as well. So making sure that you stand in your space of attention, and that you're engaged physically and emotionally and spiritually with your life, as well as this persuasion is the other pillar here. So just how you are able to impact other people, to model the way for them, to influence the way that they think. So this is a pretty short presentation, but hopefully you've seen enough to know that these are important areas. I mean, how important are the 6 areas of your life that we just covered? They're everything. When you think about it, they're the reason that people become the most successful people in the world is because they not only focus on these areas, but they do the diligent work. They invest in themselves and they ask tough questions. They have conversations with a third party, someone that they trust. They talk things out so they can figure out what to do. They don't mind being challenged and being held accountable as well. And if you can do that, then you're on the path. So are you ready to try it out? So for the next few minutes, I'm going to give you a couple of coaching, a little bit of coaching on a couple of the practices here. You can get some quick takeaways that you can implement today, and it'll just give you a taste of the certified high performance experience. I do group coaching as well as individual coaching. So we'll do this in a group because we're all here together today. So first off, let's start exploring with the high performance coaching habit of clarity. So I want you to think right now about your level of clarity. As we explained, what clarity is pretty much. So if you had to rate yourself between a 1 and a 10, just think about how clear, how sure are you? How are you showing up for yourself, for the people around you, and in terms of knowing what success is for yourself, knowing who you are, knowing how you want to present to other people, and then knowing what's making you successful. What's your clarity rating from 1 to 10 on that? Which 1 is like, you're, like really in a fog and having no clue whatsoever. And then the next you're crystal clear. So if you had to rate yourself on that. And what I want to invite you to do right now is to, if you're interested, I do free coaching sessions for 1 hour. So you can get this, like Lorenzo and I, there's more that I could work with him on. If each of you are in that situation as well, you can go to this website and I'm sure you'll get all of these links sent to you as well. But I have a free 1 hour strategy session I do, but I need you to complete a questionnaire first. So just so I get an overview of, some of the basic areas of interest for you, and then we can arrange a time to talk. And so for 60 minutes, we're going to focus on you and all you for the whole time and give you some tips on all those areas. We're going to add at least a couple more areas than we were able to do today. And so that you'll have a customized kind of at least a launch pad to move forward with.